A gift from above. See how hard that Ivan Petrovich works, Nikolai half wheezed to his friend. The two men leaned against the western side of the textile mill's storage hall, wetting their parched throats with a small canteen of watered-down vodka. It was a shared canteen, and they passed it to one another in slow intervals. Andre, the shorter of the two by a few hairs, straightened his posture so he could peer over the large bales of cotton they were hiding behind. He craned his neck to see out into the yard, where Nikolai's gaze was fixed. Through the wooden double doors, Ivan Petrovich Lebedev, apologies for pronunciation, led a team of men, thick ropes draped over all their shoulders as they hauled the giant bales in from the cold. His bulky, ape-like physique was a testament to a life of little food, heavy drink, and hard work. The one thing left untouched after 58 years of hardships were his blue eyes. Though small, they were still sharp and carried a degree of light in them. He, alongside two others, dragged a burlap-wrapped cotton bale the size of 6 men under the awning and onto the stone floor of the warehouse. When the men unwound their ropes and began to head out again, Nikolai took a swig and spoke once more. I tell him there's no shame in taking a break if you don't get caught, droplets flying off his mustache as he spoke. But he refuses them. Refuses to take breaks entirely. Merely stops for lunch, a few bites of bread, and he's off hauling again. Old fool, Andre interjected, before breaking into a coughing fit. The warehouse was always dusty, and the dust built up easily on your clothes and inside your lungs if you breathed it in long enough. Nikolai handed Andre the canteen, and after a long sip, the little man began to ramble. What's she trying to prove? We'll pay the same measly wage. She have a death wish. She's stupid. Is that horrible cough? Said Nikolai, ignoring his questions. It's God's way of punishing you for speaking ill about your elders behind their backs. The young man snorted, clearing his nose. I'm not sure what God has got to do with anything. I don't take much stock in God anymore. You're young. You'll learn in time. Let's get back to work. And with that, the men trudged out and into their receiving yard to finish the rest of their 10-hour shift. By nightfall, work at the textile mill had ended. The men, in their dust-laden overcoats and wool caps, shuffled out of the rusted gates. Ivan Petrovich was always the last to leave, and he always left alone. He was by no means unpopular. In fact, he was held in high regard by co-workers and superiors alike. But long hours of pulling cotton bales with no breaks and little food made his joints ache. Any movement became a long and arduous chore. And so, as he always did, he limped his way across St. Petersburg to his little hovel that rested on the city's edge, in the company of no one at all. It was well into the middle of the night when Ivan Petrovich returned home. His wife, Galina Lebedova, sat at the small wooden table where they would eat breakfast, until her husband collapsed inside. Her expression flat and solemn. She rose and shut the door for him. With great delicacy, she hunkered down to his side, and as she always did, slung him over her shoulder, moving him to the chair opposite hers. It was there that she nursed him back to health. She fed him porridge that she had left cooking in a small pot over the flames of their meager hearth. She washed him with cold water and cow's fat in a basin the size of a trough. After an hour, Ivan Petrovich was fit enough to walk again, but it was too late in the night for gratitude. The first words out of his mouth were the same words that always escaped his lips the minute he was healed. How's old son? Sectioned away from the rest of the house was a room where the Lebedevs would sleep, and in the far corner of that room was little Pavel, Ivanitch, their son, a frail lump of a boy who could scarcely be seen even in daylight. When his parents, now in their nightclothes, crept into the room, Pavel stirred and murmured. His sleep was always restless. The sores and lesions that marked his body would have made it difficult to sleep even on a soft bed, so there was nothing to be done. The two walked to his side and comforted him. Go to sleep, Pavlosha, Ivan whispered as he played gently with the boy's curly hair. Sleep and be strong. The morning was already due to arrive. While Galina Lebedova would sleep at his side, Ivan spent his last waking moments in silent prayer. Please, God, he thought, lying as stiff as he could, his eyes shut as tight as he could shut them. Please provide for my family. I cannot provide enough for all three. All I ask, God, is that we have enough money to heal my son, so that he can be strong enough to work. The next day was colder than the last, so Nikolai and Andrei drank harder. The two men were on their fifth break when shouts came from the front of the yard. Nikolai, who was less heavy, made it to the small crowd of workers first. "What's happened?" he shouted at a younger-looking man with a round, clean face. "Ivan Petrovich is dead," the boy said as if he were reading the news. "He was walking from his home below the walls of Petrograd when a soldier dropped his coin purse from the top of one of the spires. It struck him in the head and killed him."